The packed courtroom was electric with tension. On trial was Samuel Bennett, a black entrepreneur accused of violating a complex business regulation. The prosecution's case hinged on a statute they claimed Samuel had knowingly broken. The courtroom spectators, ranging from local media to curious townsfolk, were eager to see how the case would unfold. The prosecuting attorney, Philip Crane, was well known for his aggressive style and confident courtroom demeanor. Today, he wore a self-assured smirk as he addressed the jury. Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence is clear. Mr. Bennett knowingly violated Section 42B of the Commercial Code, which explicitly prohibits the kind of actions he took. This statute states, he paused dramatically, then misquoted the law. Samuel, seated at the defendant's table, remained calm. His lawyer shot him a quick, surprised glance, but Samuel raised a hand slightly, signaling he wanted to speak. The judge looked over and nodded cautiously. Mr. Bennett, if you have something to add, the court will hear you. Standing slowly, Samuel faced the judge and jury with measured confidence. Your Honor, if I may clarify, he began, voice steady and clear. Section 42B of the Commercial Code actually reads differently. I happen to have a detailed understanding of this statute because of my years of experience in the industry and my background in law. The correct wording is as follows. With precise recall, Samuel recited the statute verbatim. Section 42B states, no entity shall engage in commercial conduct that results in unfair competitive practices through false representation or intentional concealment of material facts, except in cases where disclosure would breach confidential agreements or trade secrets. He continued, the prosecution's claim ignores the exception clause, which is crucial in my case. My actions fall under this exception because of binding non-disclosure agreements that govern my business relationships. A hush fell over the courtroom. Even the judge seemed momentarily taken aback. Philip Crane's smirk faltered as he shuffled through his notes. Objection, Your Honor. The defendant is now testifying and misrepresenting the statute. Judge Marcia Ellison raised a hand. Overruled. Mr. Bennett has a right to address the court, especially given the apparent discrepancy. Samuel sat back down, his calm demeanor unshaken. His lawyer leaned in, whispering words of encouragement. The defense then called expert witnesses who corroborated Samuel's interpretation and confirmed the prosecution's misquote. Documents were presented that clearly supported the exception clause Samuel had cited. Throughout the trial, Samuel's deep knowledge of the law and his ability to recite complex statutes by memory repeatedly challenged the prosecution's narrative. Jurors whispered among themselves, visibly impressed by his poise and command of the subject matter. By the time closing arguments arrived, the tide had shifted. The prosecution was forced to concede that their initial claim had been overstated and that the case was far less clear-cut than they had argued. Judge Ellison, in her instructions to the jury, highlighted the importance of careful statutory interpretation and reminded them that intent and context are critical in legal decisions. When the jury returned with a unanimous verdict of not guilty, there was a palpable sense of justice served. Not because the law was bent, but because it was correctly understood. After the trial, reporters asked Samuel about his courtroom confidence. I spent years studying these laws, not just as a business owner, but because I believe knowing your rights and responsibilities is vital, he said. When you're facing accusations, it's important to stand firm in the truth, even if it means correcting those who should know better. His story quickly became an example in legal circles about the power of preparation, knowledge, and dignity under pressure.